Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Ron Anik with Black Axe Ranch here in Sturgeon Lake, Minnesota. And we are back out in the field here for our fencing project. Last week we showed you guys putting up some of the corner posts and some of the line posts. And this week we're gonna start running some high tensile wire for the fence. And we're gonna have to be dodging mud puddles in this video here, because since our last video we really got clobbered by the rain, twice actually. And so everything's wet again, but that's okay. The grass is growing like crazy. The trees are starting to leaf here a little bit. Could have done without the rain, I think, for this project, but the ducks don't seem to mind. In fact, I think they're the only ones that are enjoying it. So here we got our bucket of toys here: wire, a crimping tool, wire cutters, tape measure. We got, sleeves for the wire so it doesn't cut into the trees too much, the trees that we're using for corner posts, nails. We got our hammer. We got a bunch of stuff in there. So hopefully we got everything we need. So we're going to start with putting some fence staples in that just basically to establish the height of our wire. We're going to have 8 strands of wire total for a height of 7 feet. Now, the way that works out is the first 3 lines are going to be 8 inches. So 8 inches above the ground, 8 inches, 8 inches, and then from there we're going to go a foot. And that works out to be 8 lines and 7 feet. So we're going to start with these staples here. Now, if you remember, I said 8 strands, and if you count these staples, we got 7, and I said we were going to go a foot up. So you're probably thinking, okay, Ron, what's up with that? But this pole, of course, this is the one that I had to pick to demonstrate on, but might as well run with it. But we got gypped on this pole here when I went and bought them. These are 10-foot posts. And this one was about 9 feet, 9 inches, I think, if I remember correctly. So it's going to have a little dip in it, but no big deal. We'll improvise. We're just going to put a little staple right up there and call it good. But anyway, you guys get the idea of it there. Those are our guides for our wire. So we got our spinning jenny all set up with our high tensile wire. The wire we're putting up is basically 12 gauge. It's 200,000 pound per square inch, so can take quite a beating before it's going to break on us. And we are going to be running this line through from tree to tree, and then you can kind of see the posts over there. So what we're going to be doing is some of it's going to be permanent, some of it's going to be temporary. We're sort of doing this expansion here in a couple of different phases. That's one of the corners of our existing area, and we're gonna run a line, new line, from that corner to this tree here, and eventually it's gonna go to that tree and over all the way around. Well, that's one. Almost. Nikolai just got home from school, so he is now assisting me.
Yeah.
There you go. Good. Yeah, you like this kind of stuff? Yeah. All right. Got enough slack?
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay, so here we are kind of up in the woods here, I guess. But we're at the end of this line of fencing here. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting in these little ratchets like this. Ratchet and a spring. And so what this is first off, this is a ratchet here that allows us to tighten up the wire pretty much anytime we want. We got a special tool for that, and I'll show you guys that here in a second. And then we also have a spring, and this spring has marks on it, so we can either have it set to 125 pounds of pressure, basically, or 250. And we're going to set it to 250, so we're going to get them wires almost like guitar strings out here. So we're going to put this in to basically splice it in and ratchet it up. Okay, so with Nick's assistance, we're gonna show you guys how to basically splice this on in here.
I see my knees on it.
Nope, you're okay. I just needed you to stand on it so that it didn't go spring all the way back, right?
And then it hit me.
That's right. That's right. Okay, so first thing we have to do is we got to put a little loop in here. We're gonna.
And then you can cut it.
Not.
No. Oh, you're gonna bend it.
Correct. I'm gonna bend it here because we're gonna over bend it a little bit. Gotta be very careful with this stuff because
it can come back and hit you.
It can come back and hit you right in the eye. We don't want that.
What is this?
That, I don't know what that is.
I just found this in the ground anyway.
Oh, look at that. A piece of metal.
Let me wash it.
Oh, it looks like a old fence post binder.
Oh, maybe someone else was a farm here.
I'll show it to the camera. You never know what you're gonna find out here in the woods. An old fence post binder. That's old.
Yep, I just saw it.
Yeah.
It was right there.
Cool. Well, there was probably an old fence here at one time.
Probably.
Okay, so
then they probably took it down when we moved here.
That could, well, probably long before we
did.
did.
Yeah, probably way before that, but they probably did take it down.
Yep, long before we did.
I want to see what this looks like when it's clean.
Okay, so what we're going to do is slide this on here. By all rights, I probably should have put that on first, but
so then it's safe.
Here, actually, you know what? We're going to have to stop and...
I'm still trying to empty this out.
Yeah, you see that? Okay, so I actually had to clip off what we just did there because, hey, we're still new to this, and nobody's perfect, are they?
Yeah, nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect. What I have is this little piece right here. I don't know if you can see that. That's our crimp.
Crimp.
Yeah.
You put the wire in.
Correct. So what you do is, I want to make sure we put that on there. The mistake I made was we bent the wire around before I put the crimp on, and then I couldn't put
the crimp on.
the crimp on, right?
That probably happens a lot.
Probably does. More often than you think. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll get that, doing it that way in a second. So we take our little spring end here. What we're going to do is we're going to put our crimp right in there. So let's just see if we can use our 3 hands here to do this.
On the worm.
On a worm in there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's all right. Now, if you look on there, you can see.
How is it even in?
How'd a worm get in there?
I think I got stuck.
Weird. Okay, so as you can see, we got our little crimp piece. Oh, there we go. As you can see, we got our little crimp piece on there. So now, with the assistance of Nikolai, come on over here, buddy, if you could, please.
Okay.
Yep, come on over here. Come on over here. There you go. Over to my other side here. I'm going to have you hold this up for me. All right. Yep, hold that. There you go. Thank you. Okay, now.
I like helping.
Yeah, I like having your help out here, bud.
Yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is...
Are you going to tighten it?
Well, we're gonna crimp it is what we're going to do. Here, why don't you twist it a little bit.
Twist.
There we are, just like that. And then we'll just kind of use the ground here a little bit. Keep holding it. There. So now that crimped it.
Oh, I get it.
See? Now it's all squeezed,
Oh.
crimped. It's not going anywhere, right?
It should not break.
That will not break. Well, I mean, it might break, but...
It can break, possibly, if there's something really strong.
Right. And if it breaks, we just fix it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Because we had the bison escape once. And we had to get them back in.
They did get out one, but that wasn't this kind of fence. That was
the wood.
That was back when we were newbies. Now we're just newbies. Okay, we got the other end secured over to the tree there. So what we're going to do is actually I should show you this before well, maybe you can see it that way. There's a hole in this sprocket here, basically. And right there, right where the wire is going through. So we're going to feed this wire through. And we'll have to turn the camera here a little bit. Okay, this is why the knees of my pants are always so dang dirty. Okay, so take some of that slack out. There we go, and almost pull the camera over. You see that? Okay, alrighty. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut off the excess there. Always have to be careful with this wire here, because this always could come back and get you in the eye. That's right.
And that could probably destroy your eye.
Yep, we don't want that. So now we got it started. So now we have a special tool right here that we're going to use. This is specifically made for these types of ratchets. So what you do is basically just goes right on like that. And this has a spring on here so that it won't come backwards. And you have to kind of watch the line up there. Once you get it started, there we go. There. Now she's just tightening right into place here. So what we will do is keep tightening
until you're done.
Yeah.
Until it's tightened mostly. And it'll stop and it's tightened enough.
So this keeps tightening up. But as we get pulling here, don't know if you can see it or not, but there's marks on the, we're going to see the first one here shortly. Let me know when you see it.
I see it pushing.
You see it? Right there. There's a little notch in the middle there. You see it?
Yep, that's when you know.
Well, that notch there, that first notch, that means 125 pounds of pressure. The second notch is what we want.
Already here.
Oops, see, there it's taking some of the tension out.
The second notch is already here.
Not quite. We want it to be just starting.
I see it. I see it. It's right there, Dad.
Yep, there it is. So it's just starting to show. The notch is right there. So now we now have 250 pounds of pressure on that. And this is 200,000 pound per square inch wire. So 250 is like nothing to it. So that's one. We're going to do this 7 more times.
Karate chop.
Yeah, karate chop. So we've just been running the wires just like that original wire, and for a total, going to be a total of 8 wires here. You can see we've got good tension on these wires here. Now, if you look and you see there's an insulator there and there's an insulator there. The reason for that is the 3rd wire up and the 5th wire up is going to be electrified. The rest of the wires are just wires. But so that's why you're going to see insulators on some, but not all. Each one of these strands has 250 pounds of, for lack of a better word, torque on it, on the ratchet, at least according to the springs that we saw earlier. So you can see it's definitely starting to come together. Well, now that we got all the lines run, or the wire at least, before we can really let these guys out into their new area, there's a couple of stretches of line that we had to put in just temporary. This is one of them. It just kind of goes around the tree there and basically connects up. Hopefully you can see it. Basically just connects up to the tree there where our 7-foot fence starts. So like I said, this is just temporary. It just allows us to get done what we got to get done here with the animals, but doesn't encroach where we are going to be putting up other wooden fence here. You guys have seen plenty of times in another video the wooden rail fence that we have here. The plan is this is actually going to move from here to where that stake is there. So it's basically going to go like this. And where this tire is, I think I pointed that out before, but there's an old well underneath there. Sometime this summer we're going to find out if that's a viable well, and if it is, we're going to put a permanent Bison water feeder right above it. So that would be just basically set right on top there. And if we're lucky, we'll get one that is heated as well, so no more hauling water out or running lines out for water heaters. But some of this we have to firm up a little bit just because of the lengths here, like I said. So we're going to put in a couple of T-posts and see how that goes. To pound these T-posts in, we're just using a basic post pounder. This one's 18.5 pounds. Pretty adequate for getting through this soil here. Honestly, if I was going through hard pan or harder soil, I'd probably want something around 22, maybe even 24, 26 pounds. But for our purposes, more than adequate. So in order to get the wire to hold on to the T-post, we just use one of these little doohickeys here that just wraps right around, a simple little twist, and it's on. And it also allows the wire some flexibility to move back and forth, so it's not permanently attaching it to the post. There is a little bit of wiggle room there, which is exactly what we want. Finished cleaner post. Sorry about that. The ladies are, just missed it, but the ladies are duking it out behind me here. Hierarchy. Now they're acting like they weren't doing anything. So this is where old meets new. You can see our old fence here, the barbed wire fence with the electric running around it. And we've meshed up. Now this is a temporary fence that I just did real quick. Weather wasn't exactly cooperating with some of this, so I kind of had to work between the raindrops, but I just threw up real quick a temporary fence that just goes all the way down to here and meets up with our actual, well, our real fence, I guess you would call it. This one here will last until we can, I'll get a little bit further over with the expansion, a little bit further over, but anyway, you can see there, we just basically just butted it right up. Now the plan here is going to be to remove this entire length of fence all the way to that post, and then we're going to move that line over away from me just a little bit, and that is going to open up this whole area over here, which we are hoping to do real soon. So you can see there's the corner post there that we put up in the previous video, and then they got their whole field right on the other side here. Plenty of grass for these guys. Well, that pretty much wraps it up for today. We got some good work done with this fence here, so we'd like to thank everybody for joining us this week. Our next video we're going to be sharing with you will be letting the bison out into the new area so that they can have a little more elbow room and a little bit more running room. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.